All right, I am wading into this topic very trepidatiously because I know some people are going to get mad at me and just knee jerk and not wait to hear me out. I've seen the other opinions online, and then I kind of checked myself and told myself, like, when have you ever had issues with an unpopular opinion? So I put on one of my Slytherin shirts and let's rip this band-aid off. I'm talking, of course, based on the stuff with the header about this story. Ninja explains his choice to not stream with female gamers. And I normally don't use Polygon articles because Polygon has been a bunch of jerks to me. But it is the original source of the interview. And I think Polygon's response or lack of response to this after them being social justice, social justice, social justice, is part of the story here. It's amazing. This got picked up on, like, I first saw it on like the BBC or something like that. Somebody asked me about Ninja and I'm like, what? I don't care. I don't follow that kind of streamer, but it is a this is an issue now because, of course, it ties into Mike Pence making comments that people, including Polygon at the end of the article, have said are the same. I'm going to attempt to show you how they're not the same at all, other than just on the surface here. But for people who don't know what's going on, I'll stop confusing you. Ninja explains his choice not to stream with female gamers. The only way to avoid the rumors is to not play with them at all. I don't play with female gamers. This was what he said at the recent Samsung event, and they talk about how he has more than 10 million subscribers. He does Fortnite Battle Royals. If none of this matters to you, good for you. But what he says is, he talks about being married, and he says, if I have one conversation with one female streamer where we're playing with one another, and even if there's a hint of flirting, that's going to be taken and going to be put on every single video and be clickbait forever. That's his assertion, is that, well, let's press pause on that. I want to go on and get his complete statement. Polygon agrees with him that he himself has asked some invasive questions of other YouTubers, other Twitch streamers, about streaming with a woman. They talk about his relationship. They're married. I don't know why they say relationship. With Jessica Blevins, who's also his manager, which I think is extremely important for this. They get into the stuff about Twitch thoughts, harassment. Of course, it's Polygon. They've got to bang the harassment gavel, right? Harassment must come up in every article about women on Polygon. It's like a mandate they have. That was a joke. That was a joke. I don't know that for certain. When I pitched telling my own story about being a woman on the internet, it of course wasn't all doom and gloom. I was told by a Polygon editor that they think they've done enough on that. That was in 2014. Obviously, they've changed their minds about having done enough about women's experiences on the internet. Obviously, a change of heart right there. Sarcasm, heavy. Slytherin shirt. But this is what we get. Respect is a major part of playing Fortnite and other games, yet women often are at the receiving end of anything but Twitch thoughts. If you don't know what a thought is, it's okay. Harassment, warding off obsessive or judgmental viewers are all serious concerns for well-known female streamers. In contrast to the reality of being a woman on Twitch, Blevins' choice to draw a line feels like a conservative gesture, even a familiar, divisive one. There hasn't been a single female gamer or streamer on Twitch or anything like that who's been upset about that, he said of possible pushback. I honestly think that it's just kind of like a respect thing. Ninja may not hear criticism of this decision, but similar gender-based views have received pushback in the political sphere. Think of the outcry surrounding Vice President Mike Pence's supposed marital boundaries. Still, the Twitch streamer is sticking to his absolute, which he believes is the only choice. The only way to avoid bad gossip is to not play with them at all. So that's the story. And this is how I feel about the story. Ninja seems to have a real habit of speaking for women in this piece. And I don't want to mince his words too much because it was just at a Samsung thing. Sorry, guys, my freaking mouse died in the middle of this. But good thing it wasn't on the article. But he seems to have a bad habit of speaking for women in his, I almost said thoughts, and that's a terrible pun. It's not my wife. I didn't even ask her. No women on Twitch have a problem with this. Now, this is actually a very layered issue, and it's oddly complex because there's a reason I haven't done more Twitch streaming. I did it during E3 because YouTube shut me down, but I avoid Twitch because I haven't been able to brand myself for thoughts instead of being a thought. I haven't quite figured out how to navigate the more negative elements of the Twitch experience, and I want to do it right because a lot of you guys do gravitate over, and if you have any suggestions for that, I'm more than open to it because I'm done with streaming video game stuff on YouTube. It's just too... For all the complaints about Twitter of late and not booting people from their platform, YouTube is not about its content creators. It's about its advertisers, and they don't stand up for their content creators nearly enough, in my opinion. I know I'm saying this on YouTube, and they're letting me. Well, we'll see. Maybe it'll get advertiser flagged. But yeah, the first thing that I am suspicious about with this is the fact that he does speak for other women, and there's a lot of everything or nothing. Nobody has a problem with it. It only takes one time. The reason I said his wife is his manager was relevant is if he's worried about his marriage, she's your manager, dude. She can screen anyone you stream with. She, if your goal is, your rule is, she has to be okay with it. That's a cool rule. Consent is good. I think your wife should come first because she's your wife. But, if there's a really great female streamer, I can't see her having an issue with good content being created, male or female. The other thing I immediately thought was, it's 2018. It doesn't have to be a person of another gender for rumors to start. It's perfectly possible to cheat on your spouse with someone of the same sex or of no sex at all. So this idea that just in general, people will talk if you stream with a woman. That's not exactly what he said, though. And I want to go back to what he actually said, because his choice of words was very telling to me. If I have one conversation with one female streamer where we're playing together and there's even a hint of flirting, that is going to be taken and going to be put on every single video and be clickbait forever. The thing that caught me was if there's even a hint of flirting. This may be oversimplifying things, but maybe just don't flirt then. Like accidental flirting, I don't know. I'm not a flirt. Yeah, Beelzebub's a flirt. I'm not. It's like, okay, if the problem is the flirting, just don't flirt. But also, it's Fortnite. And this is where I get into this thing about it not really being like Mike Pence's issue in anything but a surface thing. Mike Pence doesn't have meetings with women alone in places like dinners and things like that because he believes it's inappropriate optics. Apparently, he will have meetings with women during office hours. I'm sure he always has a witness there, but he's a politician. They're never alone. There's always aides and things like that. But and while I still disagree with that, I in that way understand more the appearance and allegations of impropriety, because seeing a man and a woman in Washington, where, let's face it, there aren't that many openly gay politicians, people do talk. There are things. I think that the sort of whole Clinton saga with Monica Lewinsky made that sort of a normalized stereotype about politicians. As much as I don't agree with it, as much as I think there are other ways around it, and I do think that gives men who are seeking a meeting more hours in the day to access the vice president than women, and therefore I disagree with it because it's not equality of opportunity. There is the reality that they are in the same physical space doing something that might be perceived to have romantic overtones or undertones. I can't say that about playing Fortnite. It's a goofy battle royal game. Like, I don't see the distinction between male players or female players in that setting. It's not like you're having dinner. It's not like, it's not like you're seen cuddling. You're not even in the same physical space, right? It's like that person's on that computer, you're on your computer. You might not even be in the same state, the same country. Like, the idea of two people being in a relationship when they're thousands of miles apart seems like a lot less juicy rumor than, if you're actually photographed or seen in the same physical space. And that's why I don't think it's the same as the Mike Pence thing, other than on a completely surface thing, in that it is associations with women and they're claiming sort of lofty, noble reasons, respect and all that jazz, instead of it being a fear of getting into trouble. And the additional thing of, if there's even the slightest bit of flirting, that means that you are treating women who are not your wife differently than you're treating men. If you're not worried about flirting with men, but you are worried about flirting with women, and this is just sort of a general thing, not just focusing on Ninja, but if you just can't stop flirting with women, that has to do with your conduct with women. You're married now. You should be able to turn that off. You're done. Like, some people, I'm just a flirt. No, that's a choice. Like, there are people I know who are very charming, and they make comments. They compliment women's clothes, they compliment women's hair, but they do it in a way that is just like, it's an honest compliment. It's not like a come on or anything like that. So I know it can be done. I have, if you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm just cleaning up some dust. I sanded my ceiling and this place is a shit show right now. But, there are ways of interacting with women without making it suggestive. Just saying. And if the treatment of women is so different compared to an individual's treatment of men, and I'm saying I don't know this about Tyler Ninja Blevins, so that's why I'm saying just general thing. I have not watched enough of his content, and he has not streamed with women, so I don't know what his behavior is with women. But in general, if you are married and you are treating women who are not your wife significantly differently than the way you treat men, that could be part of the problem with people's perception, not just that you're publicly associating with women. And I know this as somebody who has had rumors. Usually they were started by the guy who claimed he was sleeping with me. In one case, I actually had to make a complaint to the convention. They didn't believe me at first. It took 2 years and dozens of other women coming forward to say he'd been similarly inappropriate with them, for them to believe me. But them's the breaks. I'm a big girl. Other times I just stop associating with the person because, not cool. The crazy thing is that people believe that stuff. And that's where I sort of come back to the general culture of Twitch and women. And this is why I don't want to come down on Ninja too hard, even though I completely disagree with his stance. I think that if your wife has a problem with this is something that should be in your wife's control. It shouldn't be, this isn't even her, I'm doing this because so much respect. Well, if you really respect your wife, dude, you'll find out from her whether this is a step you need to take. Maybe she doesn't want you denying other women the opportunity for exposure because of her. Like, she should be asked. She should be part of this process. And I don't know that she hasn't been. This is sort of reads as an off-the-cuff comment to me and not a, thought-out official statement of any kind, though it is on the record. But I want to go easy on this guy, not because I agree with his views. I don't. But because I think this is a symptom in part of a general issue with Twitch and sort of the gender disparities on the platform, sort of embodied by the whole idea of the Twitch thought. I'm going to mess up the definition of thought. Look it up on Urban Dictionary if you're curious. I tend to try to spare people understanding of these words. You'll figure it out based on context. But when you have this double standard about the sexuality of men and the sexuality of women, to the point that it becomes a meme, the meme being the whole idea of Twitch thought, that is an issue on your service. And I do think it sort of stigmatizes the women who do decide to sort of dress up sexy and be kind of flirty and play video games. There should be nothing wrong with that. And there should be no assumption about their sexual proclivities based on that. That is their job. They are doing that to entertain people. And that's why I don't like the term Twitch thought. Are there a lot of sexy ladies on Twitch? Yeah, there are. Just because I don't want to do that myself doesn't mean I don't support any woman who does choose to use what God gave her, or perhaps a plastic surgeon gave her, to make money. Men do it in boxing and MMA. Women do it in MMA. But your body is a tool. If it's beautiful and you can use it to make a buck, more power to you. Hi, Binky. Yeah. So I don't like the disparagement of the women on Twitch that decide to do that. But there is definitely an issue with how women are sort of perceived and therefore treated on Twitch, which has to be addressed. And I don't think the solution for that is, what YouTube does, which no boobies, this is why we can't have nice things. I think we just have to start respecting these beautiful women a lot more and not see them as a threat to a marriage or someone that your wife's going to get mad at. And I recognize the realities that a lot of women are very threatened by this sort of stuff. Trust me, I've had them give me the stink eye myself, especially in my younger days. That's a story for another time. But I do think we have to start having a discussion about the fact that these women are just earning a living. They're not going to steal your man, ladies. You know, they're not out in some sort of competition with other women, especially women who don't want to, you know, depict themselves that way. They're just making a living the way they know how, and they love games too. They may not be the best players in the world, because when your boobs are pushed up to here, it's not the most comfortable thing, and it does affect your hand-eye coordination. It's still entertainment, and it's still stuff that people like, and anything that brings people joy, I believe, as an entertainer, should be respected. I have great respect for people who just want to go out and make people laugh, make people happy. There's a place for that. We don't have to be serious all the time. And, you know, boobs are called fun bags for a reason. They're fun. So let's stop stigmatizing sexy women on Twitch. Let's overcome this idea of Twitch thoughts. And let's get a form of sex-positive feminism that both allows a guy like Ninja to stream with women without giving a shit about what the internet has to say about it. Because let's face it, they're not judging him. And this is my final thought. When somebody starts a rumor like that, they're not judging him because of the stereotype that, well, what man wouldn't? A lot wouldn't. They're not judging him. They're judging the women involved. So the wife can't keep her man, and this streamer is somehow a slut or a thought or something like that. The guy skates fairly easily, unless he's a real freaking pig and abuses somebody. But it's the women that really get judged in those situations, and that's where the rumors come from. The stereotype to get men in trouble is, he abused me, that sort of thing. The harassment thing, it's not quite the same when it's seen as a consensual indiscretion. And you can argue with me all you want. I've seen it. I grew up, weaves were flying and you know, nails were coming off because women would fight women because they were after their man. And I was like, fight with your man. And I was like, I'd get the teeth kiss. Like, it was a foreign idea because men just gonna men. In that thought. No, it doesn't have to be that way. It isn't that way. I'm sure Ninja's a good dude and his wife has nothing to worry about. And she's her manager. She's his manager. So she can set up the streams and supervise the streams and be very, very clear that there is nothing untoward going on. And I think that if everybody knows that dude's wife is right there watching the stream, when he's streaming with a female Twitch streamer, I think that solves the problem. You know, guys aren't gonna go behind his wife's back when she's right in front of him. That sounds like a better solution to me, since she is his manager, than just not streaming with women on Twitch at all. And let's face it, there are far more male streamers than female streamers anyway. So this is going to be a minority thing anyway. So just let your wife be there, dude. That solves the problem. Then everybody knows what it is. Everybody knows nothing untoward is going on, or even have her play too. Like, there are ways around this. Like, shit, look at the co-optional podcast that Total Biscuit and Jenna Bain did together. I mean, it can be done. I think there's more to this than just, I stream with a women, rumor's gonna start. That's my opinion. I hope you liked it. I tried to make it more than just drama. I don't know how I'm gonna manage that with tomorrow's video. Oh my god. This week, man. This week. Okay. Like what you see, like this content, help support this channel, become a monthly patron, patreon.com/Leanna K. Ironically, yeah, I am trying to figure out how to do Twitch as well. So any suggestions to avoid the Twitch thought paradigm and still be a woman who streams on Twitch that people want to watch, let me know. Thanks for watching.